Hi, I'm Mary Brody, and I'm the author of Revenue or Relationships Win Both. We love to talk about viral content and growth hacking, as if there are tips and tricks to increase traffic and create a community. But viral content doesn't just happen by accident, as one may assume. It occurs in strong communities where content and conversations emotionally connect with the readers. In social media, a group of people will come together to create a type of community to share common interests and fulfilled shared needs. There, they often share content that supports different ideas for discussion. And when content resonates with community members, they may share it with communities beyond that original group. And such content becomes part of an individual's identity because it gives them personal meaning and supports and validates their self-perceptions. It helps readers feel good about themselves so they can more easily express their thoughts and emotions, from happiness to anger. And if the content resonates with others outside of the group and they feel the same feelings or emotions, then the content grows in popularity and it becomes viral. Content that supports and extends an idea builds emotional connection to a larger community. And this community could be temporary or longer lasting, depending on the topic. Now, companies can and will do the same with their content. Companies that have created viral content usually sell or offer a solution, either as a product or a service, and that solves a customer problem and provides value. And this value improves the customer's lives. The problem solved could be personal or representing an industry or just something in the world. And the solution could be a product, a service, a professional, a politician, an entertainer, or anything in between. The more pressing a problem is for people to solve, the more passionate they are about finding a solution. And a problem is pressing only because someone decides it is a priority in his or her life to fix. But this decision is based on someone determining what will make them feel good and validate their self-image and their self-perception to give them meaning in their lives. Yeah, decisions are based on feelings and therefore emotions. Most of us like to think that facts drive our decisions when it works quite the other way around. Facts validate our feelings and subsequently our choices. Dr. Antonio Damasio proved in his work that this is true. Our feelings drive our decision making. And that's why it's really emotional engagement that connects an individual to a product or service and a brand to make a sale and build that customer relationship. But if you want a product or content to go viral, it's that larger sense of community, that larger relationship that needs to be built. You need to help people see they're not alone in their choice. They're united with others who think as they do, who share the same life vision and needs. It's also why it's easier to make a product viral if it has a natural sense of community associated with it, like a famous brand or lifestyle apps, a political campaign, or social media products. It's easier to connect a product or service when others are connected to it too. So let's look at some examples of viral products to see what this means. So Uber went viral, not only because it solved a problem in San Francisco and other cities, the difficulty of finding cabs, which is going to sound completely weird, but in many cities at the time, cabs would only pick you up at a hotel because they wanted the larger airport fare. Smaller fares or fares to more remote areas of a city were not desired, and sometimes they just weren't even accepted. So Uber allowed San Franciscans to have a way to do what many Manhattanites did, hail an off-duty luxury car rather than a cab. Now, it was an affordable luxury that not only boosted one's self-perception, but it was readily available to go where required. It also helped off-duty car drivers make extra cash. Everyone benefited. So providing a viable and valuable solution to a difficult problem is usually accepted pretty quickly, especially if all parties win, and there were many parties, as was the case with Uber. Now, Google gained popularity with its email program because at the time, many wanted an alternative to Hotmail and Yahoo. Both of those services were cumbersome and challenging to use. It was hard to track conversation threads, you had an account size limit, security was light, and people just wanted a better general experience. And that's why Gmail got attention by everyone. People felt it was a new way to send email, whether it was great or not. And it was created by the group that created Google Search, a simpler search solution that allowed a user to get a search result from a single keyword rather than clicking through multiple layers. The simplified approach to get an account and manage email caught on very quickly. Instagram and Snapchat were great response products to other social media platforms and gained traction quickly, not only because they were more visually focused and easier to use, but there was a secondary need. Teens needed a place to go online where their parents couldn't follow them and they could have some privacy. Their parents were now in Facebook. They were watching all their movements, and that felt stifling to many teens. Over time, that demographic made Instagram and Snapchat their digital refuge. So now about 70% use either platform away from their parents. Now, as stated earlier, most products grow in popularity over time because they solve a clear problem and through that, build a sense of community or a relationship with customers. They use various tools to engage their audience. And who is their audience? People who have a distinct problem to solve and a clear need for help. Those two factors are the basis for what these customers, these people, share in common regarding their interests. But relationship building doesn't just happen. And it doesn't just simply revolve around a sale. A relationship is built by a company filling a need that these people have, or more often they didn't know they had, and developing a role in that person's life to help them solve a problem. And over time, a customer realizes how much that company can help them beyond that problem. Or they realize that the problem that they have is much larger and they need more help to solve it beyond that basic core product. Now, as we know, to build a relationship, you need to have a conversation. And my favorite illustration is this picture that I found in the Dallas Entrepreneur Center when I was recording my, third attempt at creating a video course. Business is socializing with purpose. So how does this apply? Well, to socialize effectively, you need to have a conversation. And the end result of socializing and having conversations is always relationship building. So in a way, this poster graphic supports the idea that successful businesses have conversations with customers all the time. And the outcome of these conversations, the socialization, are business relationships. And those business relationships somehow materialize into revenue. So how do you have conversations like this with customers who are literally everywhere, sprinkled throughout the world, accessible online and offline? Well, I created a quadrant that illustrates this. So this quadrant presents how you can look at communication approaches and methods to engage customers and build customer relationships in business. You could say that this quadrant could help you develop a content or custom communication strategy, because what is content but a way to have a virtual conversation with a customer? So in my book, Revenue or Relationships Win Both, I included this quadrant diagram that identified 4 categories or types of activities you can use to engage customers. On one axis, we map the delivery method of a communication, which could be anything between an in-person or automated experience. On the other axis, we map if an experience more closely resembles an interactive experience with a product or service, or a conversation. Interactions can be similar to a conversation, but it uses action in addition to words to facilitate communication between customers and a company. Most certainly, interactions include a type of conversation, but interactions allow for a customer to discover and understand what the company and product does on their own. It supports the idea that actions truly speak louder than words. So here are the 4 quadrants and some example activities. So let's start with automated, digital, individualized experiences. I know, that's a mouthful, right? But these are both self-guided and one-sided. And I say self-guided because the user can interact with a system on his or her own time, and I say one-sided because the company designs and distributes the experience or communication, mainly in a print or web medium, and the customer responds to the company through their selections. Companies talking, customers responding. So some examples of company-generated content activities include websites, email marketing campaigns, and digital ads. Traditional advertising could be included in this mix too, if we consider an ad as being a self-guided snapshot experience of a company or product that appears in a magazine, a billboard, or some other location. Customer-generated content could include forums, customer stories, or testimonials. All of these types of content require that you experience it yourself as video, audio, or text and images. Others can't have this experience for you. Now we get to automated digital conversations. These are self-guided conversations that the user has with a system. The user initiates the conversation by entering a keyword or a statement, and the system responds with results. The user chooses the conversation topics in which to participate. Alternatively, someone could select keyword buttons that answer questions initiated based by the system. Based on algorithms and programming, the system displays what it determines as the best results for the inquiry. Solutions aren't provided through people collaborating to fully understand a problem that needs to be solved. Solutions are provided through if-then thinking. So there's no identifiable emotion expressed in this communication type, and if emotion is expressed by the human inputting data, then the system responds with a pre-constructed, predefined statement. Now, some sample activities include search engines, right, where the user enters specific keywords, and also chatbots. This area doesn't hold many customer-generated content samples unless a customer creates their own bot. And I would say also social media posts is an example of a hybrid between automated and in-person conversations. And you can kind of like picture why, right? So in-person conversations. These are some of the most effective ways for a customer to get answers to direct questions that may be not supported through self-service methods. These questions may arise during research or in a product demo or some other research mechanism. In this method, the customer has access to a company representative to guide the conversation and collaborate to resolve an issue. Often the customer initiates the conversation. Sometimes the company will, but usually it's the customer to create an experience with the company. This makes in-person conversation a more intimate approach than online methods. Emotions can be easily expressed, communicated, and understood in this medium, increasing connection and intimacy between the people involved. In-person conversations can occur by the company, influencers, or customers to promote word-of-mouth methods, and it's in this approach that trust is built and more in-depth specific questions can be answered. So some examples of these activities for both companies and customers for their generated conversations include phone calls, emails, live chat, and in-person discussions, or as we would say, traditional meetings. Now, live in-person experiences. They allow a customer to understand what the company does by asking direct questions, experiencing the product firsthand, and understanding how it could help him or others. The customer and the company co-create an experience together, although the company might initiate it. And this allows for joint problem solving and is the most collaborative and creative of all the approaches. Relationships are truly built from collaboration around education and problem solving, and this approach includes both. So examples of activities for both company and customer generated conversations: events, trade shows, in-person store experiences, demos, and similar live interactions. This supports both conversations and experiences. So that summarizes the 4 quadrants, and if you have any questions so far, feel free to ping me in the comments or send me a note at info@revenueorrelationships.com. So coming soon will be a series of videos to review each of these 4 quadrants in more detail so you can have a better idea of how you can use these conversation and communication tools when you create your own customer relationship lifecycle strategy. Stay tuned for more. I hope this was helpful. Thanks and have a great day.